Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and oh! Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
All right, good evening and welcome to the Really Big Barbecue Central Show. This is the show that talks about all things that are important to the world of barbecue and grilling. This show originates from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city, Bomb City, USA, Cleveland, Ohio, the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I'm your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here on your Tuesday evenings. A live fire, fun, and frivolity show. If you want to keep up with the show during off-show hours, here's how you do all of that.
You can get in touch with the show by sending an email to Greg at bbqcentralshow.com. Follow us on all the social media channels at BBQ Central Show. And be sure to subscribe to the show podcast feed on your favorite podcast platform.
Anything else you want to find out about the show can be found at the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. And here's what's happening in case you can get the newsletter. Originally, a number of weeks ago, actually, if you go back and look for it, maybe a month or two ago, I put out a link through a number of social media channels that said, if you have a product, if you have a service that's barbecue or grilling related, or you have a great live fire story that you want to get across, use this link and book yourself on the show. It's worked like gangbusters, except for tonight when somebody decided to come on at 9:14, and then last Wednesday when I started reaching out, trying to set up sound checks, there was 0 answers back, and then Friday there were 0 answers back, and then on Saturday I had to flex a little muscle and said, we got to get something on the sound check board. Otherwise, at the end of Sunday, you're out. Hit the bricks, pal, and beat it. Well, guess what? There was no answer back. So I had to backfill the segment this evening. And joining me in the first segment, 9:14, you saw him maybe a month or so ago, believe it or not, the brains behind Mr. Brisket and the pitmaster of Go Big or Go Barbecue, Aaron Huntleman, is joining us. And there's Aaron in studio. So let's just get a quick sound check. Aaron, how you tonight? Okay, I don't have you. You switched yourself off. That wasn't me. No, it can't be on. Is it up? No. What could possibly? Stand by. How about now? No. Just trying to think of how we pivot from here. All right, stand by. How about now? No. All right, we're going to have to go to the headset. Stand by. Okay, how about now?
I got nothing.
Oh, yeah.
Now we're good.
Now we're good?
Here we are.
All right.
We're checked in.
Oh.
Live TV, folks.
This is extremely bizarre because literally 10 minutes ago,
We tested.
everything was fine. Like, better than fine. It's very fine.
Blew me away.
All right, now I have to adjust your level this way and see where we're at because I don't think I have the right thing on there. So, all right. So thank you for filling in. Did you have anything better going on tonight?
No. There's no new Kardashians with the wife tonight, so.
Are you a Kardashians fan?
No.
Oh.
I'm a happy wife fan.
Yes, who isn't? Of course. So, Aaron Huntleman is sitting in for the show again this evening, so we're happy to have him. 35 past the first hour. Wes Wright is coming back, cookoutnews.com. And in the second hour, we have quarterly guest Jess Pryles coming in, and then rounding out the show, first-timer, the pitmaster of Grork Boys Barbecue. He was on Next Level Chef. Matt Grork is coming on, Embers TV associated as well. So that's what's happening here this evening. Don't forget, you can follow me socially, X, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, at BBQ Central Show. We say good evening to those of you watching tonight through one of the video streaming platforms of Facebook or Twitch. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, which can be found at youtube.com/@BBQ Central Show. And we have a YouTube poll question of the week, and I'm asking everybody this. Between the two, which was the bigger barbecue story in 2023? Memphis and May's damage or the American Royal Open scoring, and currently 77% of you are saying the American Royal scoring. And we start here this evening. Just a quick update on the aforementioned American Royal scoring issue from a few weeks back. There's been no segment booked with KCBS CEO Rod Gray as of right now on this show. I will continue to wait for a yes or no, and I won't be letting go because, quite honestly, this is a big deal. It demands to be addressed in this type of format, not just by KCBS writing press releases and steering the narrative. I will continue to ask for a segment. We'll keep you updated on the progress of that. I'll also continue to talk to teams that were there and that were affected. Additionally, I've reached out to the American Royal itself to see if they have any type of official comment or statement about what happened, because there is a bit of a taint on everybody involved. So I want to make sure everybody has the ability to comment if they want to. But I currently have no reply back from the person from the American Royal who would make a comment if they were going to make a comment. So there's that update. And then we have an update from the other ongoing barbecue saga, which is the Memphis and May damage saga. Well, after the votes were tallied a couple weeks ago, the 2024 version of the event is going to be at Tiger Lane. Additionally, at least for 2024, the music festival portion of this event has been put on hold. I think there's a real fear that no one will go to this event or that portion of the event that is not right at the end of Beale Street, which is what they have counted on in the past for that walk-in foot traffic. That's not going to be the case at the new location. And lastly, I know Mark Williams mentioned it during his segment beginning of the month, but I've also heard from many other pitmasters and competitors who take place in Memphis in May every year, and they say that this location specifically, apparently, allegedly, reportedly not known to be the safest location. But this is the spot that over 70% of the barbecue competitors voted on to have the Memphis in May 2024. We'll continue to follow that as it develops as well. So now I think we're all caught up. I have no idea what the hell happened with that microphone. It just died on me. The second microphone died. I'm going to lean towards a cord. But we're not going to test it out anymore, I can tell you that. We're back to the headset, so if it's clicking, I don't want to hear about it. It's evasive maneuvers here in the first hour, for crying out loud. All right, we'll have more Aaron Huntleman here in just a second. Are you tired of settling for mediocre grilling experiences? Time to step up your game and bring the ultimate flavor and the ultimate cooker to the backyard barbecues. Pits and Spits Charcoal Grills, offering the highest quality live fire cooking experience you can get in the market today. Using either wood or charcoal, their solid fuel grills produce those classic flavors you're looking for when you have the time to fire up the grill and cook for your family and friends. With a large adjustable fuel tray, you can raise and lower the fire to control and fine-tune the heat. It's their take on the very popular Santa Maria-style grill. You can check them out online at pitsandspits.com/BBQ Central. Once again, that's pitsandspits.com/BBQ Central. And the Pits in the Spits is spelled with the double T on the Pits and the Spits as you're checking out, because you've purchased a brand new charcoal grill on the Pits and Spits website. Save yourself $150 off on me by using the promo code Charcoal Central, all one word. That's right. When you put on the charcoal grill in your cart and you're checking out, save $150. It wasn't like free money. Charcoal Central is the code to use to check out. Get $150 off any charcoal grill. And you can peruse the offerings at pitsandspits.com/BBQ Central. That's pitsandspits.com/BBQ Central. Good folks over at Pits and Spits. We'll be back with the pitmaster of Go Big or Go BBQ, Aaron Huntleman, right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Show studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by cookinpellets.com, your number one source for quality wood pellets for all your pellet-driven cookers. You visit cookinpellets.com for more information or to purchase. You can also visit Amazon.com to purchase as well. In fact, highly recommended. Or Lowe's.com or Walmart.com. Use cookinpellets.com to purchase under extreme emergencies only. Otherwise, go to Amazon, Lowe's, or Walmart. Same great selection, great shipping rates that Cookin' Pellets can offer you. But they certainly appreciate your support by buying from one of their specialized vendors. Very big outfits, by the way. Chris Becker and the gang over at cookinpellets.com. All right, as I had mentioned in the open, before we had the technical issues that we were working through feverishly, we have them in studio once again. Our pal Aaron Huntleman from Go Big or Go BBQ. Aaron, appreciate you filling in. I mean, you would never think in your wildest dream you would commit to the show and then go radio silent a week and a half in advance of the segment, and then a total no-show.
No. When you asked me, I told my wife, I said, I can't turn on an invite from Greg, so.
Even if it was last second?
No. I'd figure it out.
This guy put in time and effort.
To fill it out.
And then, no, not showing up. I'm not going to communicate. I'm not going to. No names, please. And to make it even worse, salt in the wound. This is an Ohio-based company that was going to be on, believe it or not.
Ghosted you.
There's only one good thing coming out of Southern Ohio besides you, and that's Mike Lang.
Yeah.
Another pint, please, of course. All right, we have a YouTube poll question of the week, Aaron, that I'm asking everybody. You're here, so might as well ask you. Between the two, which was the bigger barbecue story of 2023, the Memphis in May damage saga or the American Royal Open scoring saga?
Has to be the American Royal.
Has to be, because it's the biggest.
The biggest. And I think the Memphis in May was, they kind of knew it was coming just from the drama coming up from it. In a sense.
And it's still going.
Yeah.
The American Royal's still going too. I fear for both. I'll be honest. I fear for the American Royal, not that I think it's necessarily going to happen again. I hope. But I fear that there's going to be a thought of, we're just going to put our head down and we've written our press releases and that's good enough. And we're not going to go on any other podcast or any other show to talk about it and answer questions or anything like that. This is how we're going to handle it. And we'll just weather the heat storm. And we hope that in a week or two, like everything in a news cycle, it goes away and something bigger and better will be there to take its place and we'll forget about it. But I do know that I have talked with some other folks and there's a thought to at least keep it on the hearts and minds of those that were affected by it. And at least on my show, I'll continue to mention it and reach out to those to try and secure interviews. I mean, that's an interview you would like to hear. I would imagine you're a competitor.
Yeah, I'd like to know what happened and just an explanation and how do you prevent it from next time. I mean, that was crazy to see the one team I follow, Machete Boys, get the championship and then like woke up a day and a half later, whatever it was, and saw like, no, actually the 5th place team was, which congratulations to them too. But it was like, that's just a crazy thing to happen.
Would you rather be Janky Leg finishing 5th originally and then jumping to win? Or would you rather be in a Machete Boys situation where you're announced as the winner and then you're demoted to reserve grade? Now, keep in mind, reserving the American Royal Open probably under any other circumstance is a crowning achievement of any pitmaster's career. Mm-hmm. But winning it and then bumping down to RGC, which one would you rather have?
I'd rather be Janky because if you're the person who gets called first the first time, for me, financially, what happens to that big-ass check they gave you?
Indeed, I think I would. I'm going to take the counter. I want some type of winnings. So, and I know obviously you go from 5th to winning it all, but I think 1 to 2 is okay. I'm going to take that.
Yeah,
we'll compete on. Right. I'm hearing it. You're probably not hearing it.
Is this on now?
No. But we're gonna do another headset change here.
All right.
Stand by.
Again, like... I think it's just... Yeah, I can hear.
Oh my God. Kill me now.
It's my fault.
Wait.
It's the size of my head and the ears, I think.
Is it worse? I think that one's worse. We're going back to the other one. Stand by. Try that. No, that one's definitely not working. All right, we'll go back to this. What's that? Oh. What a nightmare this is.
Here we are. I should have stayed at the house to use the old headphones.
Yeah,
there.
no kidding. Jeez. So where were we? We were talking about first or second place?
Yeah.
All right.
Royal.
So you went to a first-year competition or first-time competition about 45 minutes south of us here in the booming metropolis of Wadsworth, Ohio this past weekend.
Yep.
How does that go?
For us, not great. As a team, as a Mr. Brisket, it went really well. We had 4 teams take in top 10 calls overall with our competition box. We had 3 top 10 calls in chicken, 4 in ribs, 5 in pork, and 3 in brisket using our meats.
Were you instrumental in putting this competition together, or you just heard about it, or?
Not instrumental in putting it together. I was instrumental in Mr. Brisket sponsoring the brisket category and us getting a little more involved than me just competing in it.
How many teams
20.
show up? 20 teams.
20 teams and 20, really heavy hitters for the area, Michigan, Ohio. Good. We had, I think, Paul Bob, who won, who GC'd it. He's top 20 in the country. So, I mean.
Is that his team name, Paul Bob?
No, Smoking Ghost.
Oh, Smoking Ghost. All right.
Yeah.
Were there more than 20 teams at one point?
No, they capped it at 20. Infrastructure.
Who puts it on?
That was through the Wadsworth Municipal Airport. Doyle Mullins owns New World Spices down there. He was the main guy putting it on.
New World Spices?
Yeah. It's a new business. I think he's like a year into it. He blends spices and teas and things.
This isn't the same place that Harry Sue uses in Chagrin Falls, right?
No, I don't think so.
All right. All in all, very well run contest. I mean, you've done a handful of.
Yeah, I mean, for a first year contest, they had ice for us. They had They had not only porta potties, but they had an open building with warm bathrooms and a place to sit to get out of the rain. The only thing, we had to use biodegradable boxes, so they weren't styrofoam. The airport just liked it, not having styrofoam near aircraft and things like that. And they're fans of the farmers, and I guess the soybeans that get used for the boxes are grown in Ohio. So they were fans of that, and there was just a little bit of a pivot because when you try to weigh down the kale, it kind of spread the box, so I couldn't keep the box closed when we were going to turn it in. So it was kind of a hold and pray and turn it in kind of thing. But beyond that, it was we were in grass and it wasn't muddy, for how much rain we got. That's all I was worried about, being in a tent.
Are you a multiple cooker team, or you just run the Traeger?
No, we got the Traeger. I started on an Oklahoma Joe Bronco and a Pit Barrel Cooker Junior for the brisket this year.
Oh, that worked out.
Really, I liked how it cooked the brisket. You kind of just set it and see how hot it. I mean, it was running like 350, I think, is what my probe was reading on the Pit Barrel. So it was really to puff it up, get some color, get some smoke, and then when I was ready to wrap, it went on the Traeger.
You smoked chunks or wood chunks in there?
I threw a couple of wood chunks, a couple of chunks of hickory in there.
Not over smoky?
No, not really. No, the pork got a comment card for being overly smoky off the Oklahoma Joe. So,
what kind of wood are you using?
Royal oak charcoal lump, and then hickory, just the bag stuff from like Lowe's, the Cowboy brand.
You ever try apple instead? It's supposed to be a lighter smoke because it's a fruit wood.
Yeah, but it wasn't on sale. So
there's no cost or budget here during competition, Aaron.
Yeah.
We pay to win. You're worried about wood?
No,
but you're buying prime brisket.
I just saw it on sale and just grabbed it. So no, this will work.
Rich Morris is watching, and he said, great job for a first-year event. He would come back.
Yep.
Did they say in its second year they would double size, or what would they be looking for from a team count?
Doyle wants to grow up to 30 or 40, I think, next year. And I said, I know he wants to do like 2 or 3 events down there. And he supposedly wants like one of the events to be at least 100 teams, which they have.
100 teams?
That's what he says. There's
going to be no KCBS event at 100 teams. Not here.
Not in Ohio.
No way.
I mean,
there's hardly 100 teams anywhere, period.
Yeah, I mean, that's a Texas
totally
thing.
I was going to say, you go down to Texas, you get 100.
I like the enthusiasm, but, I can't trim 100 teams chicken thighs.
I mean, you could.
I could. It would take me time, but we get it done. We have a Robbie now. Robbie's our new chicken thigh guy at Mr. Brisket. I can walk away, and he does a great job.
I thought there was 3 of you guys doing that.
There was, but we're just busy. So we brought in Robbie as a part-time guy, and he really picked up on what I'm looking for on the thighs, and he's kind of ran with it.
Gordon Thompson wants to know if there's going to be any SCA events there next year. I
got to kind of poke Doyle and see if we can't get one. Even if Mr. Brisket runs that portion.
Doyle?
Doyle Mullins. He's the guy who runs it, I guess. He worked for NASCAR for a while, did the catering for NASCAR. So he has experience in large crowd events. So, I mean, from that standpoint, he did a great job, and I'm appreciative of him getting one. This is the closest one we had to home since I lived in Cincinnati, and we were doing ones, downtown.
So are you just butting in and telling this guy what he should do, or is he soliciting your feedback?
He's getting feedback. No, he was walking around. He's
I know he's getting it, but is he asking for it?
Yeah, he's like, oh, this is Aaron. He's going to help me grow this. So I feel to be like I'm getting volunteered into things, but
sometimes volunteering means you're not getting paid. We don't like that. I am a firm proselytizer of if you have any type of expertise, you make sure you get paid first. And we're changing the narrative in the barbecue world here, folks. For all you people out there that are doing stuff for free, or you're getting free rub or something stop it. You're ruining it for everybody. You're a professional. You should be getting paid like a professional, and stop volunteering for free.
Yeah.
This is really going to pay off. But barbecue and payoff doesn't usually run in sentences that are the same.
When everybody asks, well, do you like competition barbecue? I said, well, you take $1,000, you catch it on fire, and if you're okay and happy with that, then yeah, come and join.
It's like BOAT. You know what BOAT stands for, right?
Bust out another 1,000.
That's right. By the way, competition legend, new legend, Josh Leonard is in the house tonight.
Oh, Josh.
Kicked your ass.
He did.
At Hartville.
He kicked everybody's ass. I think he had 2 points on second place.
Yeah. He was real big on
and he won our SCA competition.
He was a Big Green Egg,
too.
Right?
Yeah,
so,
he broke the streak.
Yeah, he had a huge lead. He dominated the other Big Green Eggers, but he was well ahead of the Weber and the Traeger aspect as well. So glad to see he's in the chat. He said he suggested a steak contest to Doyle as well. Would a steak contest do better than the barbecue competition, you think?
I think just from experience running steak competitions for 2 years, our steak teams travel better, and it's not as much of a commitment financially to come and do a steak competition, but the commitment financially versus the payout's better. And I think the payout on steak competitions, I think if you're doing a double, I think we're like, $6,000 in the prize money for a double. So, there's plenty of money to be won in a steak competition.
What winner get in payout last weekend?
I don't know. That was one thing I didn't see it put anywhere. And once I kind of got my scores, I kind of got in the car and put my head down and drove home. So I really wasn't too worried about it. But, I don't know. If Nick Owensby pops in, he might know. He kind of helped get this thing going, so he might have a better idea.
Are you using only your sauce and rubs in competitions?
No, I'm mixing in. I'm really a big fan of the T9 line, the 999 line that's in the Barbecue Superstore, Rich Parker's brand. And then I use Heath Riles and a little bit of Malcolm Reed and just kind of roll and see what happens. But I think this off season, I'm going to kind of commit to looking to see what we can do to turn some scores around.
Did you have any concerns about the scoring this past weekend and if it was accurate?
Sure, I'd like to not have the scores I have, but no, they no. The judges we had and the people running the judging area are really good. Cliff Brockman, he's the local guy over here in Strongsville. Him and his wife are really great. Dave and Becky Julitzer, who ran the competition from KCBS, they're lights out. They do a great job.
Sam Rockholt is in the chat. He said $1,000 went to the winner. I mean, maybe you don't even break even at $1,000.
Not for the guy who, rolling up in the trailer they're rolling up in. No, that's in the truck you're using. I mean, I don't know their financial situation, but $1,000,
Well, I mean, you know how much $1,000 is. And you know how much you usually pay to do a competition, whether you're an hour away from home or longer than that. It's just more money.
I mean, if you get the Mr. Brisket box, you were $649 into the whole, just right there before fuel and everything.
I know we are coming to the end of the season here shortly, but is that still spooling up, or has it leveled off a bit as far as the success of the competition box?
I think we're plateauing now, but I'm still doing 170 thighs to ship out next week. I think we're going to get picked up on a lot of practicing guys practicing and thinking this is going to be something they can commit to and use next year. We had a guy take third at the Royal with a 180. We had a guy take third at the Jack with a brisket. So I think the more we get out, hey, we have these winning briskets, the more it'll continue to go. But it's definitely going to. I'd say in the next 2 weeks we'll see it drop.
We're making a correction here. Sam Rockholt was talking about the SCA being $1,000.
Yeah, $1,000 is your first place prize.
Yeah.
So there's $2,000 if you're doing a double, and then whatever it ends up being for the math to make out for 9th to 10th, because that's what we'd like to pay out.
How's the rub business here closing in 2023 and sauce business?
Sauce is great. Rub is a little slow. I mean, sauce, I just shipped out 3 cases to one retailer, shipping out 2 more this week. Mr. Brisket, we just committed to a lot to grow, within the building itself with sauce. And I think sauce itself is going to take off more next year, more than rub. Rub's a hard one to get into.
Why doesn't Patterson stock your sauce?
I don't know. They said they have other sauces, but I looked and I really don't see anything that compares.
I didn't either. I was shocked they had your rub. Why wouldn't they just take the whole kit and caboodle? It's nonsense.
There's no shipping involved. Let me just drop off a case.
I'm not buying any more cider from them until they start bringing in the Go Big or Go barbecue sauce. Between the two, I would rather buy your sauce than the rub, if I'm being honest.
No, I mean, sales-wise points to that, too, in general. I mean, we're selling a lot more sauce. I'm seeing a lot more teams, from that aspect of the business, too, of being more successful with our sauce. And I understand that. There's a lot of rub choices out there that are better than mine. I think mine's great, but I know there are better choices out there, too.
Do you want this to be a full-time job at some point? Go Big or Go Barbecue?
Yeah, at some point, we're...
Just through the product sales, or would you get into catering to supplement that money, or what?
I'd love to cater. We did some pop-ups with, through Mr. Brisket this past... We did 2, I think, since the last time we were here with you, and the first one we sold out in an hour and a half. We sold, 40 pounds of burnt ends, and half chickens and ribs. About the same, like half racks and half chickens, and so that was a crazy hour and a half. And then we did another one, a little slower, but we still sold out of burnt ends. And I like the work. It's just something I'm passionate about, and eventually, once we could figure out a way to do it, I'd like to do it on my own.
You don't want to get a restaurant, right?
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I like a life. I did the restaurant thing.
You work at Mr. Brisket. What are you talking about?
Oh, we got good hours there compared to I manage restaurants. Yeah. No thanks.
Banker's hours at Mr. Brisket.
Pretty close.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's Aaron, who not only suffered through some technical issues in the open, but through his segment there, craziness. But we'll work through the headset here. By the way, I hear it this time, okay? I can't not hear it now. The other one was worse that we switched out of. This one is better. But I can still hear it, so save the emails. Not even talking about it next week in the open, so don't even get me started. However, at the end of the show tonight, when Aaron leaves, I'm going right on that microphone over there and trying to figure out what the hell is going on. It's outrageous. Ceramic cooker talk time. More importantly, Primo Grills. PrimoGrill.com is the website to go to. They're only sold through dealers, so you have to find one near you. Go to PrimoGrill.com, find that dealer, and then visit them. take a look at all the different size ovals that they have. I would suggest buying the extra large at a minimum. The one thing I hear time and time again from barbecuers just getting into it, especially, they get nervous with pricing and they buy at the minimum or buy down. And then they have buyer's remorse. Always buy up 1 or 2 size. I've never heard a barbecuer ever complain about having anything too big. It's always, I should have got the bigger one. I regret not getting the bigger one. Don't do that on the Primo especially. So I'm suggesting the XL. Make sure you get the deflector plates. They come in, I call them half moons. So you can leave one side completely open with fuel, or you can close off both ends of it if you want to do completely indirect, like with the place setter, like you'd see in the big green egg type thing. These are better because you can remove half or you can have the whole thing covered. They have a whole bunch of other accessories for you to try. And then, especially now as we're getting into winter, at least in here in Cleveland and areas that experience colder weather, once the ceramics get heated up, this thing is a fuel miser. You're going to race through fuel when you have the bullet-styled smokers that aren't insulated. Maybe you're not using a smoking jacket. Obviously, a lot of the cheaper offset-type cookers are also going to fall victim to consuming way more fuel because now they got to keep the temperature that you're running at because it's just colder outside. So the fire needs to work harder. It's not as efficient. The ceramic cooker, no way, baby. This thing is absolutely fabulous. So, again, find one near you, primogrill.com. That's primogrill.com. Follow them on Facebook or Instagram. Everybody is now ready for a Primo, so find a dealer near you and pick one up shortly. Holiday season is coming around the corner, so whoop-de-doo and dickory-dock. We're back with Wes Wright from cookoutnews.com right after this. Stick around, be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Howard Stern, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and Greg Rempe. The Mountain Rushmore of talk show entertainment. Now, let's get back to the Barbecue Central Show.
All right, welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by Fireboard. Monitor up to 6 different temperatures simultaneously. Connect to Wi-Fi for cloud-based monitoring. Connect via Bluetooth if you have to. Also compatible with a host of other smart speakers. Find out more by visiting fireboard.com or call 816-945-2232. That's 816-945-2232. Great folks over at Fireboard. My next guest tonight, creator of cookoutnews.com website and the third Tuesday of the month regular guest. We welcome back our pal, Wes Wright. Wes, how are you, pal?
Good. How are you doing, Greg?
We have a YouTube poll question of the week, as you know, Wes. So we're asking everybody, between the two, which is the bigger barbecue story of 2023? The Memphis in May damage saga or the American Royal Open scoring saga?
I think the Memphis in May one's pretty surprising. I've been watching it unfold.
Yeah, this month after month after month, it's been unfolding.
Yeah, I think the losses that they claimed were pretty shocking, and having been involved in the events business before, I don't know how you lose that much money on an event. So I don't know. It's kind of interesting to watch, like a soap opera.
I saw some financials. I don't know if you saw the same thing. It appears that WREG is the only traditional news media outlet that has been given access to the Memphis and May side, and they said that last year the event lost $2.5 or $3 million. This is outside of the damage that happened this year. This thing seems like it's been a perennial loser the last couple of years, and the last time it was at Tiger Lane or Tiger Alley, which is where it's going to be next year, as voted on by the competition cooks. I know it was a financial loser because that was the first thing everybody was bitching about. I fear financial distress for Memphis in May in many regards.
Yeah, I think I saw a $3.5 million loss figure. So events that I've seen, you're usually making 30 to 50% of revenue. That's your margin. So I can't. One, I don't know how you lose that much money on an event, how you miscalculated that much if it's real, and then that's also one not including those, the damages. But then, like, how do you like who's paying for that every year? Do they just people that don't care about their money? I guess I don't know.
Before we talk about some other business stuff here, Wes, you were recently at the Big Green Egg Eggtoberfest. What's the event like, and what were your major takeaways from the weekend?
I thought it was a really cool event. I haven't been to a ton of barbecue related events, but the ones I've been to, they were a little different. This one was unique that it was started forever ago just by people that were passionate about Big Green Eggs, and they charge an admission fee, so it's not like other ones that you just come in for free food and beer. It was just a bunch of people that really liked egg products, and I mean, it was at a minor league baseball stadium, which was pretty awesome because one, they had the whole infield and outfield covered with tents as well as the concourses, and it was a cool event too because it's not like a wide open field, so you could just go sit down for a little bit in the bleachers and hang out, and it was great. I had my wife and kids there. It was a great time.
Were there any stars that you saw or you were surprised to see and had access to?
I mean, I didn't go and talk to anyone, but I saw Captain Ron there, which was neat because I watched some of his, YouTube Big Green Egg videos. So it was neat seeing him there.
Wes Wright joining us here on the show. Cookoutnews.com is his website. What do you know about the new CEO over at Big Green Egg, and what do you think he brings to the table to help Big Green Egg get into that next level of business potentially?
Yeah, I mean, I've talked to him a few times. He seems like a really good guy, and he has a background of building companies and working with companies, and also a background in food too, which is what you want. And I think when I look at the Big Green Egg brand, I feel like it's been kind of coasting for a little while, and it has a fantastic brand recognition. People love it. People, like I said, are so passionate about it. And then I think what he'll help do is just continue to grow it, put some more effort in the right places, and continue to build the brand because it deserves that, I feel like.
Wes, is 2024 poised to be the year that ceramics in general recapture the imagination of the backyard consumer?
I don't think it'll be 24. I think it'll be a little longer than that. I do see them expanding, but it might take a couple years.
Wes, this is Aaron, by the way. Aaron, this is Wes, cookoutnews.com. Go Big, Go Barbecue. Aaron, do you think that 2024 is poised to be the year that ceramics recapture the imagination of the backyard cook?
No. I think the hardest part, like for me I haven't pulled a trigger on one. Obviously, I own a lot of grills. Is the affordability and the mobility of those ceramic cookers. Like for me, if I need to move it out of the way, I get afraid it's going to fall. And once it falls, what do you do?
Call me to come over and help you pick it up.
Yeah. Well, if it cracks or something like that. I mean, I like your Primo's cool. My friend had a Primo when I first started out. That was really nice. I've seen the eggs that hard fill. So,
Yeah, I think what'll help turn is I think forever, people have always thought of Big Green Egg as an expensive product, right? That was always a premium brand. But then you see Traeger releasing the new Ironwood at $2,000, and a lot of other grills are coming out at way more money than a Big Green Egg, and it'll still have that premium perception. But when you actually look at the price, it's comparable now. It's not like even a super premium grill at that price.
Any earnings surprises for you this time around that you've been hearing about?
Well, Camp Chef's parent they like pre-released earnings. They didn't even release them yet, but they sold half their business. So they released a preview of their earnings and guided down for the year. So they cut for this, and this is for all their brands like Sims Fishing, all that, they Fox Racing, all that. But they said that they slashed revenue by $100 million and then brought down margin by like, I don't know, 4 or 5%. and their guidance, because they said that inventory is going through slower than they thought with consumers buying less, and then they're also seeing more of a promotional environment, which is why they cut margin. So that's good for the people that need to buy a grill, because more promotions, especially through with the holiday season coming up. But I'll be really interested to see, especially with Traeger, since they said they were through all their inventory problems. That was like, they had a big slide and everything on their last call. So theoretically, we should see a much better quarter, and we'll know within, I don't know, probably a month or so.
I think a couple weeks ago, I was being communicated to by a number of folks that just like to watch stocks or whatever, and they were like, whoa, Traeger is really close to becoming penny stock for real. I think they were at, $2 and change or whatever it was. I don't know where it's recovered to recently, but are they in danger of getting delisted?
I don't think they're at that point yet, but it'll be interesting to see how the year finishes out. It's if the story they were telling in the last quarter continues and they surprise some people, then we'll see it probably go back up. But I think they have a little more runway, just because they took on debt so cheap, so they have some money to play with. It's funny, I didn't write an article about it, but there was another Weber lawsuit that just came out that it was for against the Weber board members, Byron Trott, who owns the parent company now of Weber, and was an owner for a long time, saying that the whole IPO buyback was a sham. And so, it seems like they just continually have more lawsuits about that whole process.
Recteq released 3 new grills, I think, last week. So what can you tell me about those?
Yeah, so they released 5 in total.
Oh, 5.
So 2 were more interesting. One was a pellet fueled griddle, which is kind of an interesting idea, and I was curious if that was the route Traeger was going to go with their flat rock. And then they released like a dual chamber pellet grill. So it's like a side by side grill, but as opposed to using 2 different fuel sources, they have one side that's for low and slow, and another, it's a smaller capacity for searing. And then they released another 3 grills in just various sizes. I'm getting a little confused by their lineup, because it seems like they have a grill for every 100 square inches of cooking area. So it seems like too many SKUs to me.
Aside from thinking it's a neat idea, why would I want a pellet fueled griddle?
Well, so they claim that you get smoke flavor from it, and they said at their Recteq Fest they showed that. I don't know. I'd have to try it out, because I don't think you can get the BTUs out of a single pellet chamber unless you're, it's like massively sized or something. And when you're griddling you're doing a lot of breakfast. You're throwing, frozen hash browns onto a hot griddle plate. You need power to get that back up to temp. So I don't know. I mean, I'm skeptical about that aspect of it myself.
Aaron, you're a consumer. What do you think about a pellet fired griddle?
I saw it and I was equally confused, just because I own, 3 or 4 pellet grills. I'm like, how is, that size fuel pot gonna heat up a whole griddle? I mean, I'm assuming it looks like it's like a 36-inch griddle.
Yeah, 36 inches.
Yeah, so I mean, I have a 36-inch griddle. I have a pellet grill about the same size. I don't know how it's gonna heat up, the left and the right, maybe the middle, but I don't know how it disperses that, that heat.
So I saw in the picture of the article that you wrote, Wes, that it seems more in the center. There were either no or tighter holes, which was probably to diffuse the heat away from the very center, because that's probably where you would get your biggest hot spot. And then as that deflector plate worked out and got bigger, there were bigger holes to shoot the heat out to the sides. I have no idea from a thermodynamic standpoint how well or efficient that's going to work. Here's my concern about a pellet-fired griddle. Can I use the pellets at Menards for $5 for a 40-pound bag, like home heating pellets? Because if I have to use wood, like food-grade wood pellets, like, I don't know, anybody's buying to put in your pellet cooker, that thing is highly expensive to run.
I didn't think about that, but that does make sense.
Yeah, I'd probably still use food grade pellets. I mean, it's
Yeah, but I don't think I don't think you want to use those.
Yeah,
I don't know if there's a danger issue with those because it's like scrap shit wood or whatever. But the food grade pellets are like $1 a pound. So you're spending, $20 for a bag of food grade wood pellets. I think it was an 18-pound hopper on that griddle. So depending on how hot you're running it, I mean, you're going to get through there pretty quick. It's going to be very expensive to run. I don't know if anybody's even looking at that.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I mean, I found like my trick for pellets. You can buy 40-pound bags of Pit Boss at Walmart for pretty cheap. That's what I usually do.
At Lowe's too.
Because
that's what I buy.
Yeah, and I don't really notice that much flavor difference, so I'm like whatever. But I mean, you're going to be running it at 350 plus the whole time, and it's got to heat up a plate. So yeah, you're going to be churning through pellets for sure.
I mean, because a refill of propane's what, $20, somewhere around there. And that runs the whole summer. For me, from just regular griddling. So that's definitely something to think about.
Green Mountain Grills launched a new Prime 2.0 grill, or new line, I should say. So you have the reemergence of Ledge Peak and Trek. What do you know about the new release?
Yeah, the new release looked pretty cool. They switched to DC power for more control and safer power, and then they had their rack system for different foods. I thought the neatest thing though was their infrared burner that they have on the side. It's a electric infrared burner for searing steaks and things like that, which I'd be interested to see it like work in person or on a video, because I'm curious how quickly it heats up and how well. But I think that's a great idea if it performs anywhere close to like a gas infrared burner.
Do you think Green Mountain Grill has the ability to recapture some market share? I know it's been a horrific year for them for any number of reasons, not the least of which was losing their manufacturing partner, going out of business there in China, and then having to source a new one, getting product in, all this stuff. And now Jason's out on the Green Mountain Grill tour of, hey, we're sorry, or hey, come aboard while we're getting some new stuff in. What do you think their outlook is for next year?
I think some people are going to catch on to that burner. That's, a common complaint, whether it's real or not, about pellet grills that you can't sear. And to me, that's a big differentiator. I can tell you that article on my site is really ripping along. So people are interested in it and reading it. Yeah, I mean, how about you? Would you buy, is that something to you that is appealing, to get a grill with an infrared burner?
Honestly, I'm the worst guy to ask that question to, because I have a Primo and I have 2 other gas grills. So does it really matter to me? No. But also, I don't really give a shit about tech. I don't really give a shit about a lot of stuff that people seem to be interested in these days, or it's certainly not in my realm of importance to matter when it comes to buying. But I agree with you. I think people see it, probably think it's going to be cooler than whatever else is out there, and it's going to do way better than it would be to even have access to a fire pot. I have an Oklahoma Joe Rider DLX, and I could slide it open to sear, and it does an okay job, but it's certainly not changing my life. I get a better sear off of a gas grill or off the Primo by far, and this one looks like it can really do a bang-up job, and I think it heats up in like less than a minute, or maybe 2, maybe less than that. So, and like rifle hot. So maybe you can also dial back the temperature, use it as a side burner that actually works. So if you want to boil water or put a cast iron skillet on there, I know Traeger has the induction burner, whatever they have with their top of the line Timberline, but this certainly could be competing, or maybe they're so different they're not even competing.
Yeah, I like the infrared burner more than the induction burner. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I like make sauces in my kitchen and then grill outside. I don't really like any grill that has a side burner. I never really use it. But I think a lot of it is you're fighting perception, right? So everyone thinks that pellet grills don't make enough smoke and they don't sear. And I mean, you buy a $30 cast iron pan and you can sear just fine. And to me, the smoke flavor is enough. I'm not, somebody that needs to be just burping up smoke for hours. So, but that's the perception. So if you can change that perception, then you can theoretically sell more grills and more than your competitor.
Still using that Franklin?
Yeah, I cooked a beer can chicken on it just a couple days ago, and
isn't that
also
a waste of wood
too? It was just kind of fun. I only had a couple hours, so rather, I don't have time to do like a brisket very often, so it was just, I think I did it on Sunday. I'm gonna post a video on Instagram, but yeah, it turned out fantastic. It was great.
I saw one of those at Hartville when we were down there for the grill fest. That thing is just insane.
Yeah, I mean, just the temperature holding on it. What's great about it is if you're great at offsets and you're a pro, you're going to love it just because it's so, stripped down and basic. Or if you're somebody just getting into offsets, it holds temperature so easily that's the thing to get. Don't get something cheaper that you'll just hate your life trying to run it. It works so well.
Wes Wright joining us here on the show. The website, of course, cookoutnews.com. Make sure you are hitting that up multiple times a week, see what he's writing about. And you can catch Wes right here, third Tuesday of every month. Wes, always appreciate the time. We'll see you in November.
Yep. Thanks. Thanks, guys.
See you, Wes.
Can you believe what I just said? See you in November.
It's crazy.
People laugh at me in January and I say 2023 rapidly coming to a close. Guess what? Joke's on you. Rapidly coming to a close. There's no doubt about it. So Wes Wright is taking us into the end of the first hour, which we appreciate his visits and insight, of course. I'm always anxious to get his feedback on that Franklin offset. I don't have one. I wouldn't mind one, but I don't know if I have a lot of space to put it in the side yard at the moment. Aaron Huntleman, I almost said Aaron Franklin. Aaron Huntleman is sitting in for the first hour here, and he'll be here for the second hour as well. We're going to wrap up the first hour, so stick around. We'll be right back.
Continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
And we thank Wes Wright for joining us. Last segment, cookoutnews.com is his website. Once again, that's cookoutnews.com. He also has a weekly newsletter called The Weekend Refuel that hits your inbox on Saturday mornings. So if you miss out on his website during the course of the week, make sure you sign up for that, and then you can get caught up on the top news stories and then run on over and catch up with everything else. But always got his finger on the very impressive website. Like, he knows a lot. Yeah, I get a lot of. He's been a great pickup for me on the show from a regular regular guest perspective.
And he follows me.
Even better.
Yeah.
You know who else is in the room tonight? Garden State Barbecue, right there. Julie, you follow Garden State Barbecue?
I'm not sure.
You should. His recipes are banging. You definitely don't follow him. You would have picked that up immediately. All right, we are heading to the second hour. Refresh your libations. Aaron Huntleman from Go Big or Go BBQ sitting in studio for the entire show here. And we will be back in just a minute or so as we get ready for the second hour. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show right here on the Barbecue Central Network. Stick around. We'll be right back.
This is Jimmy Burns from Malvern, Ohio, and you're listening to Barbecue Central.
Happy to have you aboard here for the really big barbecue show.
Boing. We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Hit me!
Fine, how's it going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan.
So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead and he's in the crackle.
Charbono! It's all about the charbono, dude!
Succulent fish. What?
He ate 54 wieners.
So listen, Lavernius, shut your face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Top men.
And just like that, we are into the second hour. It's the Barbecue Central Show, where we talk about only the most important barbecue and grilling items here, as we do each and every week. Just to the right of me is Aaron Huntleman from Go BBQ, sitting in on the show here this evening. If you're just tuning into the second hour and wondering who's that in front of all those televisions, that's Aaron.
That's me.
Still to come on the show this evening, Jess Pryles from Hardcore Carnivore and JessPryles.com. Closing out the show this evening, Matt Groark from Groark Boys Barbecue out there in South Jersey. There's a lot of Jersey going on here. Got Julian from Jersey is in. You got Matt Groark from Jersey. One time I drove through New Jersey. My uncle used to live in New Jersey. This show being brought to you from
Palm City, USA, Cleveland.
We say good evening to those of you watching tonight through one of our video streaming platforms. You can go to Facebook. Twitch is down, actually, now that I think about it, but YouTube is up as well. You can go to facebook.com/BBQ Central Show, or you can go to youtube.com/@BBQ Central Show. And we have a YouTube poll question of the week that we're asking everybody, which is this: between the two, which was the bigger barbecue story in 2023, Memphis and May's damage or the American Royal Open scoring issue? And 67% of you are saying it's the American Royal issue. Thought it'd be a little bit more split up the middle there, considering how much news has generated out of the Memphis and May thing, but obviously American Royal is a pretty big deal. Coming up on the best moments of the Barbecue Central Show in 10 minutes or less this coming Friday, taking you back to September 4th, 2016, putting you on the spot right now, Aaron. You ever heard of anybody named Dr. Barbecue?
Yeah, I think he was a judge at Hartville.
Yeah, Ray Lampe, very first year. He was a guest back then, September 4th, 2016. We had a talk on a number of different items. One was a huge barbecue event over in the Englands that was known as Grill Stock. That has since gone away. I think it ran for somewhere between 7, maybe 10 years. But it was a huge event. And then we transitioned into talking about European teams, because at that point in its barbecue life, competition barbecue was spreading across the UK like crazy. It was in England, it was in Ireland, it was in Scotland. A lot of Lins over there that were really into barbecue. They were getting Jambo pits shipped over, all the meat, all the rubs and sauces. They were turning into Americans as it came to Southern-style competition barbecue like crazy. So Ray and I pontificated about European teams that were going to the Jack, possibly winning the Jack Daniels at some point. Not the international side, but the legitimate, not saying that the international part isn't legitimate, but you know what I'm talking about. The main part, the reason you're really going there. And in 2004, for those that don't know, Aaron, I'm going to guess you probably don't know this bit of information, but in 2004, there was a highly controversial win at the Jack Daniels by an international team called Mad Cow that were co-pitmastered by a husband and wife team called Rick and Jackie Waite. In the middle of that controversy is pellet cooker manufacturer legend Fast Eddie Morin. Of course, the international team to win the international side of it, Mad Cow, and then they turned around and then won the normal Jack Daniels International Barbecue Cook-Off portion of it. So they won both sides of it. And immediately, Fast Eddie's the one that cooked their meat. They didn't win that. Blah, blah, blah. It was a whole thing 18, 19 years ago that is still being talked about today, believe it or not. But there hasn't been an international winner of the Jack since. So we were talking about what the possibility in 2016 was. Ray was very high on the fact that pretty soon there would be an international team that would come in and win the Jack again, but that hasn't happened yet. We also talked about writing cookbooks and a few other topics as well. So Ray is always a great guest, never scared to share his opinion on what's happening in the industry, whether he agrees or disagrees. And if you're not familiar with Ray, a good way to get introduced to him this coming Friday. You can subscribe to that show or any replay of the Barbecue Central Show by visiting the bbqcentralshow.com/subscribe. And you can subscribe in any different way through any different platform. And don't forget, if you want to hear a guest again that you think's been lost in the archives, you can email John Solberg, the executive producer of The Best Moments of the Barbecue Central Show in 10 minutes or less, and let him know what you would like to hear. John at thebbqcentralshow.com. Aaron, you listen to The Best Moments show?
Yeah.
What's your favorite one?
The last one.
That's your favorite one?
Yeah.
Everyone.
Every single one.
What have you done for me lately? I want to call myself out on something. Stand by for this.
A Barbecue
I'm
Central
ashamed.
Show exclusive news update.
Greg Rempe reporting from the breaking news desk here in Cleveland, Ohio, the city that breaks the most live fire breaking news across the country, nay, the globe. So I don't know if this has even ever happened before on the show or not. I'm guessing not. But when I was closing out the show last week, I left out September 11th, 2001. Didn't call it out as I have in my mind for the last, ever since the show has been live, February 7th of 2008. Didn't realize it until someone messaged me this afternoon and said, hey, you left us a little bit differently last Tuesday. And I, of course, fell for it hook, line, and sinker and said, what do you mean? And then here we go. And I said, I couldn't possibly be right. And the gentleman came back to me. He said, I went back and listened to it 2 times in a row before I even messaged you about it, just to make sure that I wasn't incorrect. So, of course, not trusting him, I went back and listened to it. And indeed, I got through all of it properly, except for the September 11th, 2001 call out, which I always do. So this is a no excuses house. And I am not obligated to say it every week, but it's important to me, and that's why I do it. So last week, I did not do it.
Andrew, you are not.
I did not do it. But I will try to get back on track tonight and restart the streak, which is going to take another 17 years to get to where we were as of last week. So I don't think I've ever not said it. I believe I've actually caught myself not saying it, running it back in previous shows and making sure that I always got it in there. In the final analysis, for whatever reason, once I start setting up the close, just like the open, it's a very mechanical in how it operates. So usually when I say, so how do I always leave you? And I might as well just shut my brain off. It all happens automatically, and away we go, and the show ends. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. For whatever reason, I decided to crowbar in a promotion at the end of the month that we're going to be talking about, or we're going to be arguing and then ushering in a new Barbecue Central Show's Guest Hall of Fame at the end of the month with the embedded correspondence. I don't know why I stuck it in there. I don't know why I thought about that, but that obviously screwed me up royally. And September 11th, 2001 suffered in the meantime. So I apologize for that. It will not happen again as long as I know about it. But obviously it just didn't even cross my mind. So we will start anew this evening. You into social media, Aaron?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? All right.
Too much.
I don't know if you happen to see this or not. I'm trying to get this over to the screen so I can share it. How do I restart this? Did you see this one? Oh, this isn't gonna. Did you see this kid? He's telling the cat joke.
No.
I can't change the way it sounds because then it'll ruin my recording. You know what? I'm going to stop.
Having a dad moment here.
I got to figure out a way to pipe that sound in the right way, because if I change it now, then my recording is going to stop here. It's going to be a nightmare in post-production. But where I was going with that is the fact that this kid is not a joke teller by any stretch. And he decides to change the key part of the joke.
Oh, no.
Which is a string being tied around the cat's balls. He obviously freaks out.
Yeah, got nervous.
And then says cat's leg. Makes a cat noise. Neither here nor there. The funniest part is diving into the comments.
Comments are always where it's at.
Oh, my God.
There's some good comment sections out there.
Nobody is safe in the comments, Aaron. That kid was taking it. Taking it. So I was going to read some of those because one funnier than the next. But it's right now that audio is trending on Reels. So if you all of a sudden you start seeing, this kid, and he said, "Hi, are you a fireman?" And he said, "Yeah." If you start hearing that audio,
we'll have Aiden do it.
This is where it's from. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy town. All right, Big Papa Smokers is here, and they want you to listen up because our pals at Big Papa Smokers has something especially just for you. Listeners of this show, whether you're a seasoned pitmaster like Aaron or a grilling newbie like me, Big Papa Smokers is your one-stop shop for all things barbecue, from their championship rubs, mouth-watering sauces, essential accessories. They've got what you need to take your food to the next level, whether you're on the competition circuit or you're in your own backyard. There's the cherry on top for what? Big Papa Smokers is offering listeners of the Barbecue Central Show an exclusive deal. Use the promo code REMPE at checkout. That's REMPE. You get $10 off your next purchase of $50. Rub, sauces, accessories, what have you. Imagine the possibilities, if you will. Evaluate your ribs with Big Papa's Sweet Money, or add Big Papa's Desert Gold on the top of your chicken, or better yet, veggies. Pick up Big Papa's Double Secret, add it to your steak. Great. Don't forget, head on over to BigPapaSmokers.com and start shopping today. Use the code REMPE, REMPE, at checkout to claim your $10 off your next order of $50 or more. You're a big fan of Big Papa's, right, Aaron?
Yeah.
Of course. Also, don't forget to check out Big Papa's full line of recipes at cookingwithbigpapa.com. That's cookingwithbigpapa.com. And, of course, follow them on the social medias for amazing recipes. It appears Jess Pryles is ready to go, so we'll get to her in just 1 second. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Howard Stern, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and Greg Rempe. The Mountain Rushmore of talk show entertainment. Now, let's get back to the Barbecue Central Show.
Welcome back. This portion of the show being brought to you by Pit Barrel Cooker, the most unbelievable outdoor cooking device on the planet, currently available in 3 sizes with a host of accessories. Doesn't matter if you're a beginner or a professional, it's a cooker you want to add to the arsenal. Visit pitbarrelcooker.com and tell them the Barbecue Central Show sent you. Good folks over at Pit Barrel Cooker. My next guest was last on the show in June. CEO of the Hardcore Carnivore brand of products. Also constantly creating recipes on her namesake website, jesspryles.com. She's written a book, cooked in very cool festival settings, launched a line of sausages, does spokesperson work, is a degreed meat scientist, and she happens to be a Barbecue Central Show's guest Hall of Famer. We welcome back Jess Pryles to the show. Jess, are you ready to talk some live fire tonight?
Am I what?
Wait.
That's a firm yes.
Wait. That microphone is not working. I'm getting your whatchamacallit microphone.
No.
So, yes. So, very simple. Do you have the little gear cog on the toolbar?
Yes.
Click that. Click the Samson thing. Hit reconnect.
There's no way I did that. All right, hang on. Why don't you tell the people more about our game that we do weekly while I figure this out?
Well, if you didn't know, at the end of every segment, so 4 times a year, we play the hotly awaited and never duplicated Which Song is Better. I should probably come up with a better title than What Song is
this
Better.
better for you?
No, it's the same.
Oh, well, both of my outputs and inputs are the
Tap that microphone.
I can hear me.
Yeah, definitely not. Can you?
Cool.
Yeah. Can you try? I guess closing the browser and then coming back in. Usually, I don't like to do that, but
BRB.
Yeah. All right. Stand by.
No, I hear you. I'm trying. Hang on. One more test.
All right. By the way, we have a in-studio guest. It's Aaron Huntleman. How about that? Go Big or Go Barbecue. Yes, sir. So we'll see. I mean, what are the chances?
It's Mike night.
You're right. I mean, we suffered through your microphones. I mean, that was incredibly embarrassing. In, out, this headset, that headset. I mean, give me a break. How about now?
How about now?
100%.
There you go.
I mean, it's like night and day. Good for you.
Truly just refreshing the browser? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Well, I mean,
science.
It should be. I don't want to get in the weeds here, but like it should be easier.
Let's just not then.
You're right. Let's not do it. Fuck it.
Let's just not.
Are you ready to talk some live fire tonight?
Fuck yeah.
All right. We have a YouTube poll question of the week we're asking everybody. By the way, Aaron, Jess, Aaron,
hello.
Aaron sitting in studio here, by the way. Between the two, which was the bigger barbecue story of 2023? The Memphis in May damage fiasco or the American Royal Open scoring fiasco?
Okay. The actual bigger story was the American Royal scoring fiasco, but the one that Greg was more obsessed with was the Memphis in May.
I've never heard him talk about Memphis in May.
You haven't? Outrageous.
Literally all his socials.
The last 3 weeks, I have opened the show talking about the American Royal Open scoring fiasco.
But
by the way,
cumulatively.
Yes, but Memphis in May has just produced sickeningly more content for me to report on than the American Royal
tell
has.
me, is this a breaking exclusive?
No, but it's not this time. 62% of the voting public are agreeing with Jess Pryles that the American Royal Open scoring fiasco is the bigger news story of 2023, which means 38% of people think that Memphis in May is. How's the sausage business going?
It's great.
Is it?
Who would have thought that I would have gotten into wieners? But here we are.
Is HEB happy with sales so far? How does that track exactly?
They are very happy. We're actually looking at developing new flavors for down the line. It's going really well. So we're just coming up to the end of the first quarter. So they've been out for nearly 3 months. And I can tell you that jalapeno cheddar is a front runner.
Of course.
Obviously.
But what's number 2?
Beef brisket.
Oh, okay. Well, that was going to be my next guess.
Sure.
You have 4 flavors, right?
Correct.
Not to be a dumbass, how many more flavors can you introduce before it becomes like too many?
I don't know. I thought I was only going to have 1 seasoning and now 9 later. You know what I'm saying? And you're like, oh yeah, I don't know how I did it without that. I don't know how I made shrimp before chili lime. I don't know how I cooked a steak without black. I don't know how I made holiday stuff without fried turkey. Blah, 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 blah. So the answer is lots. Like, what if I decide to do a cereal blend, like a Lucky Charms, sausage?
You would never do that.
Wouldn't I? I
never
probably
do
wouldn't
that.
make the only reason I wouldn't specifically make a Lucky Charm sausage is because I wouldn't be able to use the trademark.
Because it would be gross AF.
Marshmallow
That's why you
cereal
would never
sausage.
do it.
Yeah,
Have you
but
done
Greg
it?
Rempe would
Have you
talk
done it?
about it on his show.
Have you done it?
But I haven't. But they sell not so much with the smoked sausages, but I've seen a really weird variety of fresh sausages, like with gummy bears in them. That's a thing.
What?
Yeah.
Aaron, have you had gummy bear sausage?
I've seen it. I know what she's talking about. But I mean, I think like for sausages, you can get gimmicky because they'll sell. Because somebody's like, well, what does it taste like? And they just buy it. And...
No way. Wow.
People are curious, and it's a low barrier to entry with the price.
Sausage curious. Who would have thought? Are you doing some kind of college football tailgate series?
Yes, we just wrapped it up. So I went to 5 different games around Texas with HEB because they were doing a big home gator thing where they were giving away $1,000 a week to someone at home. And we finished at A&M University, which is really interesting because when I moved to Texas, I had to pick a football team because I hadn't been to college in the States and I was living in Austin. So I picked the Texas Longhorns, whose t-shirt I am currently wearing. And I have a lot of burnt orange. And I was like, yay, Texas. The team's just called Texas. Cool. And then over the years, I did a lot of stuff with A&M, involved in brisket camp, married this Aggie, and eventually ended up going to Iowa State. So technically I would be a Cyclone, right?
Yep.
That's a whole thing. We've been to College Station twice now, right? I'm just going to say this. Sorry if there are any Aggies listening. I love your meat science program. I think there's something weird with y'all's obsession with how much you hate Texas. Because here's the thing. First of all, this is a great story, but you got to hear it. The last time and only time I was at College Station at Kyle Field, I did a whole thing with the meat science department that was filmed and broadcast on the Jumbotron at halftime.
Wow.
This time, we filmed the Tailgater of the Week on the Jumbotron. That's 2 for 2 Pryles on the Jumbotron at Kyle Field. Meanwhile, Aggie husband hasn't had a look in ever on the Jumbotron, might I say. But we're watching them ultimately lose to Alabama. And halfway through, they stopped their game in between one of the drives to announce that Texas had just lost to Oklahoma. What other school is petty enough to stop and take a beat? Who is it?
Ohio State
Like,
beat
that
Michigan?
right?
I mean,
Ohio
come on.
State
What
would
are you
totally
talking
do
about?
that.
Are you
Michigan
kidding?
would totally do that too.
Ohio State.
serious?
Yes. But we don't even mention Michigan by name. We call it the state up north.
Are you allowed to wear? What about the colors? Like, because no one gives a shit if you wear maroon in Austin, but if you wear any spectrum of burnt orange in college or any orange in College Station, it's like immediate grounds for dismissal.
Yeah, I mean, you would never wear the maize and blue in Ohio. You would never wear the scarlet and gray in Michigan. Those are
But that's
like
an oddly
gang
specific combination. Like, when would you? I have plenty of orange T-shirts that aren't affiliated with the university, but I don't know when you'd bring blue and yellow together at any other time.
I don't know, but I know those colors in combination can get your face punched in depending on what street you're at in Ohio or Michigan with the scarlet and gray. So it's not just a Texas thing. I mean, it's a college football thing, especially if you have those deep-rooted rivalries. So Ohio State plays Penn State this coming weekend, Battle of Undefeateds, and it's like, But if it was you can lose every game either as a Michigan person or as an Ohio State person, as long as Michigan or Ohio State wins that game, depending on what school you're from. It's a victorious season. As long as you beat Ohio State or as long as you beat Michigan, then that's okay. Yeah, we'll do better next year, but at least we beat Ohio State.
And they'd stop during the official game to tell you that the rival lost.
Yes, of course.
It just speaks to me, a lesser school, a lesser program to me. Just saying.
I assume you are in full-blown Thanksgiving content creation mode right now?
I don't want any more turkey.
Are you that far into it already?
No, I've just started, but I look at my website and there's like 7 fucking turkey recipes on there. You know, like fried, spatchcock, butter roasted, butter basted, grilled, smoked, filleted, rotisserie, whatever. And sometimes I'm just tempted to repackage it, and other times I'm like,
never.
I might post a new one. So definitely, I'm about to get turkey deep here in the next couple of weeks, faux show.
Anything outside of the box that you're gonna bring to the table?
I'm working on a triple meat, like a meat lover's stuffing with the smoked sausage. Because what is better in stuffing than even more meat, perhaps, as well as butter? Obviously, that's a given. And no, I think I'm gonna do a smoked one, and we're doing a lot of stuff with prime rib too, because especially here in Texas, beef is a big thing at holiday tables.
Yeah. Aaron, is Mr. Brisket sell a lot of like rib roast and shit for Thanksgiving?
Rib roast. We sell a lot of kosher turkeys. Kosher turkeys is our big seller. We're actually going to try and do a video soon of a deconstructed turkey. That's our big seller.
But Christmas would be more of the beef stuff, right?
Rib roast are full cooler.
Yeah.
Probably not selling a whole bunch of kosher stuff at Christmas.
No, not as much. No.
Why not? Are we fresh cranberry fans, or do we like the out of the jar, take the imprint of the can cranberries? Because I'm the latter.
Funny you say that. I buy fresh cranberries look best in food styling and food photography. And I remember the first year that I was married and I decided to put together a little Thanksgiving feast for Chris. And of course, by the time Thanksgiving comes, we're usually burnt out on all of the food styling you've done. But I wanted to make it special for him. And it was my first Thanksgiving kind of with my new family, which was him in the States. And I did all this shit from scratch and whatever. And he turns around and asks me where the fucking canned cranberry sauce is.
You're on fire tonight.
And now, do you need me to dial it back?
No, really, bring it.
Or do you want me to drop a couple C-bombs?
No, yes, that I do. Yes, you know that.
And yeah, so now so now there has to be. Apparently, I wasn't aware of all this because this is your rich culture, not mine. But apparently, it has to be the canned variety, and it has to be cut into these
discs.
Gelatinous slices.
Yes,
the discs.
Oh
yeah.
I see.
Yeah, they can go like right on top of your turkey, mashed potato with gravy, and then crowned with a disc of cranberry. Why not?
That makes a lot of sense.
It's your sweet.
I feel like
salty.
you could do a whole. I'm getting an idea right now for like a slider that just has like, a disc in it with some other shit.
Yeah.
So,
I thought you were getting an idea to go back to Australia because you've had enough. We've completely turned you off at this point too. American
they have
Thanksgiving
a lot of
eating.
shrimp at the holidays.
Yeah,
because it's hot.
Yep.
Not even on the Barbie. Just
I was
cold
not going to
peeled.
say that. I was not.
Yeah,
gonna
you
say
were.
that.
You were
I was
thinking
not.
it.
No, definitely not.
I did a turkey Wellington with the canned stuff, just in the stuffing.
Turkey Wellington. You ever done a turkey Wellington, Jess?
Wait, are you saying the Wellington part was did you just wrap
butterfly the turkey
around?
Out. Rolled out. I butterflied out the breast and rolled it with stuffing, smoked it, and brought it up to about 160 and like 155. Just keep it a little under to put on around the dough, and then put it in the dough and roasted it. It took like 5th in a turkey smoke competition.
Wow.
Okay, but hear me out. Yeah. When you first said it, what I imagined was that the cranberry was like the fillet, and you just rolled a turkey around an entire can of cranberry.
Now that's a winner.
filling.
Yeah, we got to do that now.
Yeah, that's a winner.
Please do that.
Please.
And tag me.
I will.
I need to see it.
Can we briefly talk about the worst kept secret in the world of barbecue, which is Jess Pryles is doing a TV show?
Yeah.
I
saw that too.
What? Did you see it on? Did you see her mention it on this show?
I forget where I saw it, but it was somewhere.
Kevin's Barbecue Joints, I think it was. If memory serves me right. So what's happening with this show?
He broke it, and then I had to say something publicly about it. So I can't tell you where, and I can't tell you when. It'll be sometime next year.
Yeah.
But because we're still currently filming 10 episodes of an actual TV show, not a
contest
thing.
Oh yeah, right.
Like there's real people filming me, which is very exciting.
Do we?
There's
do we
some
have a
hunting.
channel?
There's some cooking. Yes, I can't announce that yet.
You can't announce it, right? It'll be on the television, though.
Yet.
Cable
It'll
channel,
be-
or it'll be on channel 3, 5, or 8.
It'll be it's not a major free-to-air network.
Yes.
Does that make it better?
Yes.
But it's going to be available and it's going to be great. And the best part is that I have a huge amount of say and input into it. Both where we're going, the stories we're telling, what we're doing, keeping it authentic and real. And also even in the editing, which has been really nice, that I get presented with it. It's like, hey, this isn't right. This is out of context. And that's unheard of in today's day and age of TV. It's sort of like you get what you get and you'll enjoy it because this might be your only chance. So I bided my time a lot since moving here, sort of knowing that, you get sniffed around by production companies, and I've done Beat Bobby Flay and did a whole TV show in New Zealand this year as well, and bits and pieces. And then this just landed and it was kind of amazing. I'm excited for y'all to see it. I was a judge on Beat Bobby Flay, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. I remember that.
I didn't beat him, but I did judge him.
What do you think about him? Douche or good guy?
He's actually a really good guy, and I'll tell you this. They had a setup at the back of the studio where we tried the food off camera hot to make sure that we were doing a fair judging first, which was quite unheard of in production. So
they show it to
morals.
You behind the scenes, and then they do this is our 3 experts to do it.
They show it's blind tasting behind the scenes. So you walk into a black room and they present the 2 dishes, and you get like right after they finish cooking them so that you can try them as they intend it. Because as you can imagine, a lot of the dishes will sit there for 30, 60, 90 minutes. So typically when you judge 99% of any food TV, you're eating cold food, and you have to account for, was it congealed? Was it cooked perfectly? Was it actually too rare and then actually came up to perfect temperature because it's rested that long?
Yep.
So you have to sort of use your cooking intuition for a lot of it. So this was, it's a lot of work for them to sort of do that and usher the judges in, but I think it speaks to how seriously he wants to be considered the winner, not just because he's Bobby Flay.
Hey, Jess, you want to play a game?
Yes.
Hey, it's the game sweeping the nation called Which is Better? And today we're going to be playing with a new contestant, Jess Pryles. Just before we play, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, I'm Jess Pryles, originally from Australia, currently in Austin, Texas. I'm a big meat nerd. I also like using Hardcore Carnivore a lot, and so should you.
All right, here we go.
How about that? Okay.
It's always new every time. Every quarter, it's always a new intro, which is fabulous. I appreciate it. All right, I gave you a heads up earlier that the genre is 80s hair band. Just between the two, which is the better rat song? Back for More or Body Talk?
You might have nearly stumped me on this one. That is the last band I would have thought of.
Sorry.
That's the last band I would have thought of. When you said 80s hair metal. Yeah, like at least 5 before them. So I'm gonna say Body Talk.
Body Talk. All right.
Do you want me to name the other 5 for future episodes?
No.
I cannot. You
I'll
should
get
just keep it as a surprise. That's fine.
Aaron, your answer doesn't count, but do you have a guess?
No.
No? Okay, good. Between the two, which is the better rat song? Back for More or Body Talk? And Jess Pryles is finalizing Body Talk?
Yeah, lock it in.
All right. We've locked it in, and wouldn't you know it? Yes, Body Talk is right. I'm shocked. I thought for sure maybe it would have been, you would have decided Back for More because there's a lot of intro and guitar stuff going on there. And I had to pick, so Back for More, Out of the Cellar, but not nearly the best song in Out of the Cellar. I think Body Talk's by far the best song out of Dancing Undercover, out of their 1986 album. But you are on a roll, sister.
You are really a rat fan. I know. I was just going to say, this is like 4 or 5 in a row.
Yes.
This is amazing. Yes. At what point do I get some kind of participation ribbon and or trophy?
Well, I think at some point we just kill the game because now it appears like it's too easy. And
no, I love the game.
That was not the idea. Wow. And
I love the game.
You are doing very well. So we say congratulations. Look, every quarter you can see Jess Pryles right here on the Barbecue Central Show. But in the meantime, if you are in the need for rubs and sauces and other accoutrements, you go to hardcorecarnivore.com. Or if you want recipes, you go to jesspryles.com. Jess, always appreciate the time, and we will see you in 2024.
Oh, my gosh. Thank you, guys.
All
Absolutely love being a part of this. Cheers.
Always appreciate it. And that's Jess Pryles right there. So now I had to catch something, and I missed it. Let me make sure I got this. All right. Okay, good. She was shot out of a cannon, Aaron.
Yeah, she
F-bombing.
Fired up.
Threatening the C word. That's what I like right there.
We missed a couple Sausage Fest jokes in there. I'm pretty mad about.
I got. Oh, you missed them?
Yeah.
It's a thing. Franklin makes offset barbecue pits. We know this. We talked to Wes Wright, who has a Franklin barbecue pit out there in Michigan, the state up north. For barbecue purists, this is a pit that you want to consider. They're built right here in the States with all-American steel, built to last, built with purpose. What you have with the Franklin pit is a deeply thought-out and refined version of the old propane-style cookers that Aaron uses for his restaurants. Stylistically, it reflects the bare-bones industrial handmade aesthetic that he loves, as in patina and the way the build allows you to see the welds and the craftsmanship. Primarily made of 5/16 and quarter-inch thick steel, made here in America. In a word, it's strong. Anything that sees heat's engineered to be incredibly solid should last a century or more if cared for properly. You can't overstate how important thickness of steel is because it guarantees professional-grade heat retention. It's the key to producing good barbecue. Every Franklin pit unique unto itself, with its own patina, natural markings, and its very own badge number. Franklin pits can be found at fine barbecue specialty stores in select regions of the country. If you're a fan of the show and you happen to own such a store, you've been looking to bring in an offset pit, why not consider becoming a certified Franklin dealer? Visit franklinbbqpits.com, fill out their dealer form, and you are now under consideration. If you're a fan of the show and you want to own a Franklin barbecue pit, but you don't have a certified Franklin dealer nearby, you can also visit franklinbbqpit.com, and you can purchase a pit right there on the Franklin Barbecue website. Ships right to your driveway. If you have any questions along the way, you make sure to hit the Contact Us link at the bottom of the website. See him in person. Aaron saw him in person right there at Hartville, Ohio. By the way, if you're within a 3-4 hour radius, Hartville Hardware is all sorts of reasons why you would want to go visit there, not the least of which is to see a Franklin barbecue pit in person. FranklinBBQPits.com. That's FranklinBBQPits.com. And we'll be back with Matt Grork from Grork Boys Barbecue right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Whole packers, full racks, legs and thighs, injecting butts. If you've never heard this before, you might think you found the best XXX show ever. Let's get back to the most homoerotic host out there today, Greg Rempe.
And we thank Jess Pryles for joining us the last segment. HardcoreCarnivore.com and JessPryles.com, our website. This portion of the show being brought to you by Aladino Tobacco, a family-run, vertically integrated manufacturer known for its authentic Corojo tobacco, grown at the JRE Tobacco Farms in Honduras. A premium cigar, original Cuban seed Corojo. Flavor characteristics are unique. Brings you back to the golden era of cigars in Cuba from 1947 to 1961. Approach is prioritizing flavor to contemporary smokers. A sensational experience is what you get with a range of blends, making sure there's something for everybody to enjoy. Find a retailer near you by visiting jretobacco.com. The good folks over at Aladino, which I certainly appreciate, and they are my favorite cigars, especially the Corojo Reserva line. Coming out of the bullpen tonight is part of the newly launched Embers TV live streaming platform. Socially, he is on all the platforms and doing very well on all of them. Maybe you've seen him on TV or you subscribe to his popular YouTube channel. If you have no idea who he is, you're in for a treat tonight because we'll dive into all of that as well. Let's welcome in the pitmaster of Gork Boys Barbecue and partner in Rub City, first-timer Matt Gork joining me. Hey, Matt.
What is up, Craig? How are you?
We have a YouTube poll question of the week that we're asking everybody, Matt. We need your answer post-haste. Between the two, which is the bigger barbecue story of 2023? The Memphis in May damage fiasco or the American Royal scoring fiasco?
Man, I wish I was a competition guy. Why do I not know about either of them?
You don't know either?
I know nothing.
You just come out of a rock, man?
I have no interest in competition barbecue whatsoever. It's crazy. Well, talk to me real quick. What happened?
In a 30-second nutshell,
Holy crap.
Memphis in May had their last event now the last event in Tom Lee Park this year because they were given a $1.5 million damage bill after they tore up the newly renovated Tom Lee Park. And then the American Royal Open scoring fiasco was a issue in the pork score. There was a 3-hour delay in getting those scores up, announcing overall. They announced the wrong winner. Fifth place ended up going to first place. First place went down to second place. There were a host of other teams that either went up or down a little or a lot.
Oh, my God.
Scoring fiasco. So knowing that, which one is more heartbreaking?
Knowing that, listen, like the damage fees, you're dealing with a bunch of barbecue people. I mean, you got to expect to, I'm not too surprised at that one, actually, just in terms of how we party. But the scoring thing, man, yeah, that's terrible. I mean, I have a couple buddies that do competition, and I know that, that does not sound like a good situation at all.
Well, you'll be happy to know that 64% of the voting public are also in agreement with Matt.
Nice. See that? So, there you go.
We have a in-studio guest, Aaron Huntleman from Go Big or Go Barbecue. He also sided with you sided with American Royal, right? Yeah. And I also sided with the American Royal as well. Matt, let's get going with you here. For the folks that aren't aware, your live fire background and where you're based out.
So I'm in South Jersey. Is that my wife just running?
She's like ducked down like nobody saw her. Great.
We're fostering kittens, and anyone that knows me will laugh if they're watching this because the cats tend to be part of my story. I currently have 13 in my house right now.
Holy shit.
Yeah, holy shit. It's no joke.
Well,
Five of them are being fostered.
The good news is this. Well, it's not good news. I have 4 cats in my house. I want 0 cats. I have 4 cats. One of my cats.
I want 0.
One of my cats peed on my very expensive mixer in the beginning of the year and almost ruined my whole life. I also have a book of poems right here. It's called I Could Pee on This and Other Cats, Other Poems by Cats. So
I love that. That's phenomenal.
In a past show, my oldest daughter read a number of selections that were her favorite poems out of that.
All right, so you're a cat dad, whether you want to be or not.
I don't want to be, but yes, I am. So I feel some of your pain, but you have 9 more cats than me. Wow.
Yeah. So, all right, so South Jersey, I'm about 20 minutes outside of Philadelphia. My live fire grilling barbecue background really started in the parking lot of Lincoln Financial Field, the Vet, Philadelphia Eagles season ticket holder for 20 plus years. My dad took me when I was a kid to the Vet, taught me how to pee in a sink when the urinals were all taken up, as Philly fans did at the Vet. So yeah, I mean, it all started there, when we got season tickets for the Link, and my dad and me and my two brothers started going all together. It was just, we were there at 6 a.m. tailgating, grilling, and I kind of took over that part of the tailgates. They always handled the driving and the transportation and the beverages, and I handled the food.
So that was the indoctrination into live fire?
That was the start, man. I mean, I worked in restaurants my whole life, waiting tables, a little bit in the back of the house, but mostly front of the house stuff. But had an interest in food and the potential of going into culinary, but just never did. Had too many chefs that I worked under tell me, if you don't want a family and you want to spend holidays in the kitchen cooking,
Yep.
and you don't ever want to see your kids, or if you don't want to have kids, then come on, be a chef. And I was pretty much at 17 like, yeah, that doesn't sound too great. And it kind of discouraged me from all that. So, I had Johnson and Wales on my radar, all that kind of stuff. But, that went down the tubes pretty quick after a talk with a couple chefs. I wasn't into working 18, 20-hour days.
So how does the barbecue and grilling thing come up, and when do you start jumping into it to a degree?
So, the passion was kind of started through the tailgating stuff, and then really it took off roughly around 2017, 16, 17. My father-in-law actually dropped off a small little master-built propane smoker, the 36-inch box smoker, propane. He had ordered one from Amazon and never used it. It was still in the box, and he dropped it off in my house one day and was like, here, he knew I tailgated. He was like, give it a try. You could play with it. And that night I went to Sam's Club. I think I bought turkey legs, chicken wings, a brisket, a pork butt. I bought every protein you could possibly buy. And, I was Googling everything. I was watching YouTube. I knew that I had to soak my wood chips before I put them in the smoker. I love that you guys laugh at that. So, that was the most important thing.
Because we've both probably done it.
Right.
Oh, yeah,
So,
everybody.
And I put I had no idea about time and temperature and internal temperatures, and I just threw everything in the smoker at the same time. I turned the beef, the brisket into beef jerky, and probably undercooked my chicken, and I don't know, it was a disaster. But there was something about sitting up at 5 a.m. because I woke up at the butt crack of dawn to fire that thing up. And there was something about being awake at 5 a.m., no kids, nobody up, just me on a Saturday, sitting out back with my coffee and my thoughts. And, it was just, there was something that hooked me, man. And ever since then, I just kind of got addicted to it, just trying to learn as much as I could. And shortly after that, the social media stuff started. I was on Instagram and all that when it was just photos, and I started posting pictures of my barbecue. There was no video at the time, and it was just food that I was posting. So,
are you doing this full time?
No, I'm not. I'm a full-time teacher. I am just started my 21st year. I'm teaching high school. I'm a health and phys ed teacher, and lo and behold, with everything that's gone on over the last handful of years with me, and in this food business that we're in, this barbecue business specifically, I was asked by my administration if I would be willing to teach culinary at my high school. So I am a 20-year phys ed teacher, health and phys ed teacher, that is now in a kitchen teaching culinary to high school kids. So we made pumpkin bread today in class.
Are we doomed?
So yeah, it's pretty. Listen, I am always impressed by these kids, man. Maybe not, in the last few years in terms of social skills and their ability to, look people in the eye when they speak and actually enunciate and speak with tone and volume. They friggin' whisper and mumble. But I feel like I probably did when I was a kid too. It's just what kids do. But they get it, man. But I really see in a very short and fast few weeks that since school started, there's an interest, man. These kids want to know how to cook. They want to know how to handle themselves in the kitchen. They want to know, you got all these bros that want to protein, that want to cook their proteins and meal prep. So like I can hook them up a little bit with some tips in terms of the meat and the protein stuff. So there's an interest, and it's a pretty cool mixture between the girls and the guys. Home ec culinary isn't just for the ladies anymore. My classes are pretty much split 50-50, so that's a pretty cool thing too. So being able to be in a position where I'm able to, maybe get kids to wake up on a Saturday and make some pancakes or something for their parents is a pretty cool thing.
How you balance work life and barbecue life?
It's just, Greg, you guys, both of you are probably relate to it so much. It gets to a point where you just do it. Like you figure it out. And that's the only way I can explain it to people, because I don't really know how I do it. I feel like I don't stop ever thinking about content and thinking about what I'm going to post next or what I'm going to cook next. The night before, but when I go to bed at night, I'm thinking about what I have to do in the morning at school, what I have to prep for when I get there. I really don't bring work home, so when I get home, I'm strictly just dealing with, family and my kids and my wife and sports and taxiing the kids everywhere we need to get them to, because they're 9 and 7 now. I have 2 boys, and they're playing soccer, they're playing flag football, they're doing swim, it's just nonstop. So I've actually, since school started, have probably not posted as much or cooked as much as I would like to, but I have gotten to travel quite a bit, have some other things going on that have kind of trumped just making content on, social media. So I've been busy. I've been away on weekends, more than not. So, and it looks like it'll probably continue over the next few months. But it's just, I think you're just grinding to get to a point where you do it. I don't have a team. I don't have anyone filming for me. I edit everything myself. So, I have a lunch period at school tomorrow. I'll edit some videos, that's it. That's pretty much how I roll.
Social media wise, you have good numbers across all platforms. However, TikTok, next level shit, almost 3.5 million followers or subscribers, or whatever the hell you call them on TikTok. When did it start to click on TikTok, and how do you leverage it to your advantage?
So I was on TikTok back. Most people are surprised to hear it. Like my first post on TikTok was December of 2018. At least 2 years before, I would say the large majority of people even knew it existed. I think when COVID hit, there was a huge wave of people coming from Instagram to TikTok because they finally started to believe in it or see other people getting results. And when I say results, I mean like monetizing, and making money, and growth. So that's what it was for me. 2018, I started. I was contacted by the parent company that started TikTok to be part of their early creator program, and I was actually paid in 2018. TikTok paid me $600 a month to post 30 videos. One video a day.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy, and most people don't know this. So $600 for 30 videos a day, 30 videos a month. And I'm talking like 4-second videos, like silly transitions. Like it could be anything. There were no real guidelines. It certainly evolved over the years, but then COVID hit, man, and that's when things kind of skyrocketed. When I started battling with the vegan teacher on TikTok, there was this lady, she had an account called the Vegan Teacher, and I kind of, went at her a little bit in a video saying, I'm the new teacher in town, I'm the meat teacher, and I kind of named myself, and then that caught on, so now I'm kind of referred to as the meat teacher at times, and that really blew it up, because anytime you do anything controversial or, like any kind of beef, pun intended, that that's how you go viral. I had a couple beefs back and forth with some other big creators, Jack Cuso, a buddy of mine, Chef Cuso, on social media. He and I went back and forth on TikTok. It seemed like there was early on where he and I kept getting compared by people watching our videos, tagging us in each other's videos, trying to start trouble. So Jake and I got on and we were like, yo, why don't we ride with this and we'll just pretend we fucking hate each other.
Yeah.
And we did that for like 6 months. We did that. Like, we talked shit about each other. We called each other out in videos. We were in each other's comments. And people loved it. And we grew because of it. And Jack's now sitting at, I don't know, 4 million or 3.5 million on TikTok too. Wow. So if anyone's out there and wants to grow on TikTok, just start shit with somebody.
So they're paying you $600 to start a month for doing 30 videos, like one a day, you said.
Yep.
What's that money like now? Is it there still? Is it more, or is it gone?
So I would say the majority of people on TikTok would probably not be too happy about how TikTok monetizes as an app. I don't think there's a ton of money to be made. I mean, I'm not making a lot of money on TikTok from the app. My monetization comes from brand deals and opportunities to represent brands. Currently I'm doing a big campaign with Kingsford. So I've done a campaign with their charcoal before. I'm now doing a campaign with their pellets. So that's where the big opportunities come in terms of monetizing. It's kind of outside the app.
When you're taking into consideration a Kingsford or whatever other big name that's approached you because you got some big numbers there and they want to leverage your eyeballs for their product, do you have to bring all that stuff in-house first and test, or do they just flash cash and you're like, well, hope it works good, or I don't really give a shit whether I like it or not, I like money?
I mean, that's a good question. I think there's probably a lot of people out there that just see dollar signs and who gives a shit what they're using. If you're paying me, I'll use it and I'll say it's great.
Yeah, Aaron's like
the Forrest Gump, the Forrest Gump analogy.
Yeah.
I love this ping pong paddle.
I was reached out to going back a few years ago by a company. I could just use as an example where I did exactly what you just said. They're called the Good Charcoal Company.
Yeah, and
product little pricey, but they're now in Sam's Club, I think. Good stuff, and I had gotten to that and tried it out and loved it. Did a little bit of work with them, so it's something I definitely. Kingsford, man, going back to 2001 in those Philadelphia Eagles parking lots, Kingsford is what I always used because it was readily accessible. It did the job, and so for me it was almost like a throwback type of opportunity when I get reached out to by Kingsford. I'm like, oh shit, like that's pretty friggin' cool. So there's a lot of that for me with a brand like Kingsford.
I wanted to have you on tonight to talk about something we talked about maybe a month ago or so, which was the launch of Embers TV, a streaming platform for live fire content. So talk to me a little bit about the evolution of this and then how you're tapped to be a part of it.
So our CEO, Carlos Bradley, who his social medias are all Smoke and Vine, he does a lot of barbecue content as well. And he had reached out to me. He and I got together with another partner of ours and started Rub City, which is our seasoning company, barbecue seasoning company. So that's been about 2 years now that we've had Rub City. We're doing well. We've done everything, marketing wise, just through our socials. So we haven't really put a whole lot behind that in terms of marketing, money and things like that. We're just kind of, putting it in people's hands and doing it that way for now. Hope at some point to get into retail, but that's where the relationship started with Carlos. And he worked for a company called Som TV. sommelier for short, a niche wine lovers, streaming platform. And they actually, they have few 100,000 subscribers, to their service. It's very niche, but dedicated group, very much like People in Barbecue, People in Wine. And they actually produce docu-series, and just like we've been told by some detractors or even just people that have questions for us about it, like, what separates you from me going on YouTube and typing how do I cook a pork butt?
Yeah.
Right. That's probably the biggest question we got. Like, are we going to see anything different than just tutorials? You could probably say the same thing about Som TV. Why can't I go in and just say what differentiates a Bordelaise from this or that, whatever, or a Bordeaux? I'm talking food still. A Bordeaux from a Merlot or whatever. You could find all the information you want on YouTube, but that's where we're going. In terms of Embers, is very much like Som TV was. We're going to be doing docu-series. We're starting a series next month called Firestorm. And the first section of that, this is new news for you guys, breaking. Firestorm.
Did you say breaking news?
Breaking news.
Hold on.
A Barbecue Central Show
I got something for that.
exclusive news update.
I love
Greg
it.
Ramper reporting for the breaking news desk here in Cleveland, Ohio, the city that breaks the most live fire breaking news across the nation, nay, the globe. And we go to South Jersey, where Matt Groark is breaking news for us right now. Go ahead, Matt.
So Embers TV, the only place you will be able to get the new docu-series called Firestorm, Argentina, is going to be our first installment. And Carlos and Jeremy Yoder, who any of your fans watching have to know Jeremy Yoder. I heard you talking about the offset pit that you were just talking about, the Franklin pit. I know Jeremy had one of those, did a review, all that stuff. Everything offset, Jeremy's the guy. Jeremy, Al Fragoni, they are going to Al Fragoni's homeland, Argentina. And they're going to be meeting with some of the best in open fire cooking out in Argentina for about 2 weeks and filming content the entire time. So that is going to be our first installment of a docu-series called Firestorm that will travel the world of barbecue. So talk about stepping outside of just the content you could get on YouTube. Just like Som TV did. Som TV started to take advantage of the food and wine pairings, and they did a docu-series called The Whole Animal, and actually won an Emmy for that. So there are huge things ahead. We have docu-series like that, like Firestorm, but we also are going to have master classes available. We have different series and shows. We're going to get into competition shows. I heard Jess there. I've talked to Jess several times. Love her. And I heard her mention, you guys were talking about Beat Bobby Flay, but, you can't turn on any Food Network and not have some sort of competition show. So that is going to be ahead for Embers TV as well. We've had production companies reaching out to us to take on shows that they're funding and run them on Embers TV. So there's a lot of really cool stuff ahead, and $5.99 a month, $59.99 for a year. More on that, in a week buying coffees. If you're a barbecue lover, it's the place you need to be.
From a hierarchical standpoint, you have the CEO that you were talking about, Carlos Bradley, and then all the other, I'm going to say personalities, just to be generic. So you, Chud, you got Jeremy. How many people are like staked into this, and then are the other people just hired, or is it a cut of subscription revenue every month? How's everybody compensated?
So we have 7 founders. All right, 7 of us founders. Carlos Bradley, Marco, who's Smoke and Vine Barbecue is Carlos, and then Woodfire Whiskey is Marco. I always mix them up because they're like the names are so similar. And then you have Jeremy Yoder, Chud, me, Al Fragoni, and TFTI, Tone Ramirez. So we are the seven founders, and then obviously we have investors that have backed us and supported us and have supported and run companies like this themselves, hence Som TV. So we have a blueprint of this that's been successful, and we're just transitioning this into barbecue world. So we've already had some incredible talent on our platform. We've had Chuck's Flavor Train, Chuck Maddow, who was just on Barbecue Brawl. Speaking of Bobby Flay, he did a backyard barbecue. Invite is Tone Ramirez's show on Embers, where he steps into the backyard of some of your favorite creators. Greg, we could get him in your backyard and you guys just throw down some of your favorite food and shoot the shit and drink some beers and whiskey and, talk shop. And he was able to do that with someone like Chuck, who was fresh off his second place win on Barbecue Brawl. But I'll tell you, he should have won. The guy made a pork butt and he made a brisket in 3.5 friggin' hours.
Yeah, it was very hot and fast.
You want to talk about a beautiful barbecue platter? He put that down. So yeah.
So it's $60 a month, as Matt said. If you are into the live fire genre, it's someplace you want to be. You got documentaries coming down. It sounds like there's some contests that are going to be coming down. They're evidently going to be in my backyard at some point, which I was unfamiliar with. But I'm certainly looking forward to that.
We were at the Windy City Smokeout.
Yeah.
They went to. So you'll see us at competition events, at festivals. We were just at the Q Barbecue Fest in Dallas. So every time we go travel and we do an on-location shoot, whether it's a competition or a festival, we will flip that into, something like a 3-episode series that you'll be able to see on Embers as well. We also have a podcast connected that's available on all platforms that you take in your podcast, called The Smoke Show Podcast, which, Greg, I know you like that name.
I almost took that name. Remember when I was doing that?
Yeah. I think that's such an awesome
I almost trademarked that name, but that would have been crazy. I would have had to sue everybody.
Yeah, right. Shut it down.
Yeah. Sorry, boys.
So yeah, we have the podcast. We have the podcast that too, and I think I actually think our next podcast episode that's coming out is Jeremy Yoder sitting down and talking with Aaron Franklin. So.
Well, you've said a tremendous amount here tonight, Matt, which I certainly appreciate. Love digging into the background. Socially, you have 7,500 on the X. You have 153K on the Instas. YouTube at 757,000 subs. And obviously TikTok at 3.5. So very popular. If you're not already subscribed to all of those, you should go ahead and do that. And then obviously
listen, let me give everyone a little tip.
Go ahead.
Get your ass on Snapchat. All right.
I'm sorry.
Sleeping on Snapchat.
Oh, get on Snapchat?
Yep. Everybody's sleeping on Snapchat. I'm at about 350-some thousand on Snapchat.
Wow.
So, you want to talk about monetization. They're early in the game. And if you guys, anyone on here knows anything about the way these apps monetize, they friggin' fill your pockets really high, really fast. And then once you get a lot, they drop it down. So, you got to get on Snapchat quick.
All right.
It's a platform that's paying out right now. In terms
I do
of
have a Snapchat handle, like everything at BBQ Central Show. I use it 0 times. I mean, I just never use it. I'm so bad. I'm the worst. I suck at social media.
They're
so
all the
bad.
same, Greg. They all have short form, man. Snapchat has a Snapchat Spotlight. TikTok has their short form. YouTube has shorts. Instagram has reels. Facebook has reels. It's all the fucking same.
Wow.
And Snapchat came into the game too, and they're paying for views on their Spotlight. So
all right, well,
it's
Spotlight
there for
it is.
you.
Aaron, Spotlight it is. We're gonna
sign up tonight.
Knock it out. All right, we're gonna do it after the show. Find Matt Groark over at his website, GroarkBoysBBQ.com, and of course RubCity.com, where you can get all the rubs. Matt, I really appreciate the time here this evening. Outstanding debut. I love to have you back sooner than later if you're down for that.
I'd love to. Listen, let me send you out. Can you hear the song? All right, Phillies are winning 10-0. So you're looking at NLCS.
Holy
dancing
moly.
on our own, baby.
Wow.
Go
That's
Phils. Go
up
Phils.
2-0. There he is. Matt Gort right there. Thank you, Matt. Unbelievable. I was wondering what the score of that game was because I know he was, when we were sound checking at 8:30, he was like, let's do this quick because I want to see the Phillies before I come back on. So glad to see that they are well up. I mean, the guards are well out, so, like, who gives a shit what happens? I'm a Phillies fan. Why not, right?
How about them Browns?
How about them Browns? Okay. I mean, you said it, not me. Do I have anything else here this evening? No, I don't. So let me clear out this queue real quick, and then we'll...
Let's get back to a guy who has more experience giving you his
It's been a show, Aaron.
than he actually has cooking.
It's been a show.
Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
Yes. All right, we'll try again. Why not? And we're back. Oh, but we never left. So now we will leave all the way back in the first hour. Who did we have? We led off the show with him, Aaron Huntleman from Go Big or Go BBQ, the website gobigorgobbq.com. You can also find him moonlighting over at Mr. Brisket if you're going to be in the area. And then after Aaron's episode or segment, we talked with Wes Wright from cookoutnews.com. And in the second hour, we had a chat quarterly with Jess Pryles, where she got the music question right again. I believe it is 5 in a row at this point, which is a legitimate win streak. And then we closed out the show with Matt Grort from Grort Boys Barbecue and co-founder of Rub City. That's GrortBoysBBQ.com and RubCity.com, respectively. Big show planned for you next week. We have Derek Riches coming in. We missed him last month. We have the embedded correspondents talking about and then inducting a brand new Barbecue Central Show's Guest Hall of Fame. There's somebody at 9:14, but I'm not going to remember who it is off the top of my head, but that's all right.
It's me again.
It's you again? All right. So how do I always leave you? September 11th, 2001. I will never forget. Until next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, this is your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe. Bye-bye.
Hi, this is Gene Acasella from Port St. John, Florida, and you're listening to the Really Big Barbecue Central Show.